Perfect. Okay, so how's it going, everyone? My name is Davin Villalpando. Today I'm sitting down with one of my athletes who's made tremendous strides within the program and his development and just being able to become the number one starter on his summer team and also just going to take that into the spring season as well. And so today I also have Marco's dad here as well to kind of explain the parental side and what he's seen and how he's seen Marco develop throughout the last kind of 2.5, 3 months and kind of seeing why this has worked. So what we're going to talk about is where Marco started, the changes he's made, and the results he's seen, and then ultimately what it's like being inside the program. So first off, Marco, if you don't mind, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell everyone a little bit about who you are, and then we'll kind of dive into it.
Yeah, my name is Marco Valadez Valdez. I am a class of 2028 right-handed pitcher out of Denver, Colorado.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so, I'll just go ahead and ask your dad a couple questions here. So, before, we started working together with Marco and I, like, what did you see within his development, and what do you think he actually needed in order to become like an elite pitcher at the level he's at right now?
I think what well, Starp he had some development in within his club and high school team, but nothing like this. And I think it has taken him to like it was mentioned, it's taken him to a different level um, from more control with the ball and getting coaches to know that they can rely on him when he's on the mound.
100%.
So, those are things. And one of the most valuable things as parents that we saw is the program's really easy to work because it's, uh, as you know, we have to, uh, be going to practice, be going here and there and doing it online. And the way you have it structured is just a lot easier for us to be able to manage that. And it's all time. So,
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate that. And that's one of the biggest things that I kind of got into is like making it very easy and accessible to like everyone and making sure that, Marco's getting the most out of his training and also seeing it from a parental side of like, okay, he's actually making the strides within this easy, I'm not even going to say template, but easy program that he's able to follow that's very individualized for him. So, with that said, what kind of results, what kind of things have you seen? I know you touched on it, like as far as command and a lot of stuff like that, but what results specifically have you seen either in game or training wise that Marco made between when we started working together, 2 months ago to now?
I mean, there it's those small details, and we would sit with him after your meetings with him, and when you guys were in contact, and I appreciate that from your side because you
Mhm.
were following up with him constantly. Uh, so we appreciate that from your
Absolutely.
end. But it's the smaller tweaks on when he's on the mound, how he's landing, those type of things that need someone with your expertise in order for him to reach that, because that's where his force was leaking. And I think that has taken him to a better, to be
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for the parents that are like, hesitant. So if anyone's going to watch this and for anyone that's kind of hesitant about getting into the program because it's either a remote program or, I'm not sitting right next to Marco, walking him through everything, what would you have to say to them and why is it, best to be able to go through this program remotely and, where he's able to see the results?
So, like I said, one of the things that we liked is that you have constant communication with him, and I think that's something. And with technology nowadays, kids, that's something that's a way they communicate. And you following up with him, how did this game go, what's happening here, and then he would send you information. Hey, I'm having issues here, and you would say, okay, let's try this, let's see if it works. And then the following week, we would see results, so we know it's working because you would tell them, go ahead and try this. is it working? And then yes, it would end up working. So we would see maybe an increase of 1 or 2 miles on on the mount, or things like that, where it does reflect from the information that you're giving them. And on top of it is, it does it take commitment? Yes, because it's a program that they need to be invested in. But if they follow the structure that you're giving them, it works.
Absolutely.
So from one of the biggest things that we saw was him doing the warm up, pre warm up before the games. That was a huge change for him. That really, really, it was just like completely, because usually it would take them about an inning, like the first inning to almost the second one, to kind of settle in with what you gave him, plyos, all that
Just
stuff
go.
before. He was coming in hot. I mean, he
Yeah,
was just
that's
going.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, with that said, would you recommend this program to any other high school athlete or any parent of a high school athlete that's either, struggling to gain velocity or struggling with their performance on the mound? Would you recommend this program to anyone else?
Would definitely recommend the program. Yes, it's something, like I said, it does take commitment from them, but you were very clear from the beginning with that, so that it's going to be on them to follow the structure that you're giving them. And if they're able to reach that, then yes, it's definitely a great program. You do see results. You see results very fast.
Yeah,
So and that's, I think, what a lot of the young athletes are looking. How can I get better within a time frame? And it's super important. So yes, it's definitely worth what you're providing to the athletes.
perfect. Well, those are all the questions I got for you. So I really appreciate you answering the questions. I'll kind of turn it over to Marco a little bit and let him kind of answer the rest of the interview. But I really appreciate you. And I think this is going to be a very good thing to, show other athletes and parents as well. So thank you.
We appreciate what you're doing with our kids. So thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Yep.
All right. So Marco, before we got started working together, or like before we started working together, what were the things as a pitcher that was holding you back?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me was mentally. I always kind of thought I was a really slow thrower, and once I started adding just a couple miles per hour, mentally I thought I could compete with the best, and I did. I went
Yeah.
out every week and competed with the best.
Yeah. So beforehand, what did your train like? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but what did your training look like beforehand, before working together and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I was in a structured training, but it wasn't anything that was structured specifically to how I moved on the mound, which I think has benefited me so much because
Mhm.
it actually trains and it translates into game and onto the mound.
Absolutely. So once we started assessing everything and once we started getting going within the program, what were some of the biggest areas that you saw that you needed to improve in, and why was that?
Um, Definitely mechanically, I was leaking a lot of force, not going into my back leg at all.
Mhm.
And that was one of the biggest mechanical changes that I've had to make. And it's also helped me a lot with just my whole body and sequencing and
Mhm.
timing.
Yeah, and with that said, do you feel like not only the throwing packages that we give you and not only the pre and post throw routines, do you feel like the lifting, the mobility, and the nutrition work also played a big role in not only gaining a couple miles per hour, but also, becoming an elite pitcher?
Yeah, I think it's a whole package. I think everything works together perfectly, and to be able to gain velo and become a better pitcher, you have to be eating right. You have to be lifting right.
Absolutely. So with the let's see, with the things that we needed to improve, what were the specific adjustments that we actually did to, get you the results, get you the velo, get you the command? Like what was the specific whether they be drills, whether they be lifts, like what were the specifics of how you improved?
Yeah, so for my back leg, a lot of the drills that you gave me were to fix that, such as like the step back drill, the posterior hop. Those
Mhm.
were really big for me because they trained how I was supposed to move.
Yes, 100%. And, since joining the program, what have been some of the biggest results that you have seen?
I would say definitely velo. I think I'm throwing a lot harder. I haven't been able to really radar and exactly see where I'm at, but
Mhm.
definitely feels a lot harder. And then I would say confidence and the mental side of the game has definitely increased for me.
Mhm.
And just being able to go out, compete every day.
Yeah. Do you feel like having a plan and having that, routine is almost like it takes away the guessing work? Do you feel like that you're not guessing really anymore within your training and you're really just kind of not necessarily on autopilot, but more of like, okay, I know exactly what to do to help myself. So I'm just going to go do it. And then everything else will kind of take care of itself.
Yeah, with the program, it's you have your structure, and following that structure, you just feel prepared for everything.
Hmm.
Go out to the mound and go play
Go,
because you're
yeah,
already
go do
do it.
it. Exactly. Exactly. So, what achieve, and I know I posted about this, but what is the like one of the biggest achievements you're most proud of from being into this program?
Yeah, a couple of weeks back, went to Texas and almost got a complete game, but
Mhm.
I earned the five tool player of the game over there,
Heck yeah.
and it was I was very proud of myself because it was a good team. It was a
Hmm.
Texas team.
Yep.
They had some good players, and I just went out there. I did my stuff,
Heck
and I
yeah.
just competed.
I love it. I love it. And that's really all it takes. And, at the end of the day, like you're the one putting in the work. You're the one getting the results. Like this is exactly what I want to see. Like this is exactly why I do this. It's not for, my own benefit or anything like that. It's for guys like you to succeed and actually get to the next level. So I'm really happy that the work that you've put in and how much you've poured into this is actually paying off. And especially with a big achievement like that, five tool player of the game. I mean, that's huge, especially down in Texas, not just Colorado, right? So you're an out-of-state guy getting an achievement in an out-of-state tournament. That's huge. So I'm really happy for you. I really think that's a big milestone, a big step for sure. So, for someone that is watching this and who has never worked with an online coach before, what's it actually like being inside a remote program? And what do you think separates this program from others?
I would say this is different than any other program because it's specifically tailored to how you move and how you play on the mound. Other than or if you go to just a coach, a pitching coach, you might see him maybe once a week, and he's not watching you on the mound, and you don't have constant communication with him. This is a program where you keep in touch with you, and you just um, you keep in constant contact, and
Yeah.
you do a lot of small tweaks that you can't get with just a normal pitching coach.
100%. And so, based on what you said and based on that, who do you think this program is for, and who do you think would benefit most from this program?
Yeah, I would say this is just for guys that just want to come in. They can work and really get after it. It's not an easy thing to follow. There's like a big schedule like this. You gotta be pretty committed to it. So it's for guys that really want it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then, just like I asked your dad, would you recommend this program to any other pitchers that are watching this video?
Yeah, 100%. I think I've made great improvements even just in a small time, and I think this could help anyone.
Awesome. So, if you did, have any hesitations before joining this program, what were they? Was it about online training? Was it just about the coaching? Like, what were your hesitations beforehand, and how did those change to now?
Yeah, I would say it was just kind of the online training part of it. I wasn't really sure how how much. you could help me if you weren't actually seeing me. But I've seen now that just like sending videos, keeping in constant contact helps a lot. And even though that you're not here, it's it's helped a lot because
Mhm.
the small tweaks and things you can just see in videos that I send.
Absolutely. And if there's a pitcher watching this right now that's on the fence about joining, what would you have to say to them right now?
I would say I would say definitely do it. It's it's a it's a schedule that's it's not super hard to follow. It's something that you do have to be committed to, but in the end, it all helps and it'll eventually get you to the next level.
Awesome. And so, before we kind of wrap up, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you'd like to, share about your experience or, anything that you would like to just say in general?
Um, the overall experience has been great. I mean, just being able to have that schedule, being able to work every day to for a better goal,
Mhm.
and seeing those results on the mound, even off the mound, like in the weight room, it's
Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions or, want to reach out to you, is there a good place they can find you? If so, and go ahead and, if you're willing to share that, that'd be great.
Yeah, my Instagram is at Marco_Valadez 28.
Perfect. 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 Well, Marco, I appreciate you taking the time to, do this today. It's been awesome watching your progress and just seeing how much you've been able to grow as a pitcher, and not only a pitcher, but an individual. Because I feel like now you're just, honestly, you're maturing now and you're really understanding the big parts of not only pitching, but what it takes to be mentally strong on and off the field. And I think that you're doing a great job within the program and you're seeing a lot of the results. And I'm really excited to just kind of see, the next steps we take in order to get you to where you need to be. Because it's all coming within one system now. So, if you are watching this and want to see the similar results that Marco is having, go ahead and send me a DM with the word 85 on Instagram at DV Pitching, and we'll have a conversation, see where you're at, and determine if you're a good fit. So, other than that, Marco, like I said, I really appreciate you, and we'll hopefully kind of get you in the right direction that we're already in. So, I appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
Awesome.